teachers, friends, family, and fellow students. Welcome to the 2019 graduation ceremony for Next Charter School. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for being here, to share in this special event. Our graduates share connections with each of you, and we're excited that you're here to celebrate them. Before the ceremony begins, I would like to remind you to please stay clear of the aisles or surrounding the stage. Doug Rathburn, a professional photographer, will be taking pictures of the ceremony. These pictures will be made available online after the ceremony. Please refer to your program for the specific web address. I would now like to point out the emergency exits. There is one that is located directly in front of me, and the other is located to my left. Restrooms are located on the first floor. I would also like to take this opportunity to please ask you to all turn off your cell phones at this time. As many of you know, Next Charter School is different. Today, we have attempted to mix tradition with the culture of Next. We are thankful that you are all here for our 4th annual graduation ceremony and to bear witness to the accomplishment of several young adults. I would now like to introduce the most important people here today. Please join me in welcoming the 2019 Next Charter School graduates. To introduce Jordan Clemens, a 2019 capstone student who will tell us a little bit more about our keynote speaker.
Good afternoon. Next Charter School is fortunate to have partnered with many talented and invested members of the local community. Our keynote speaker today, Mr. Matt Blanchette, co-owner of Revelry Studios in Manchester, New Hampshire, has served as a mentor for one of our graduates here today. Mr. Blanchette is a co-owner, video producer, and sound engineer at Revelry Studios. He is also a talented guitarist, drummer, and vocalist. Matt's background in the alternative, rock, and heavy music scenes drive his love for punchy, roomy drums and layered vocals. He has written and performed for Paper Monsters, New Hampshire Emo Night, A Familiar Terror, and for various moms. At this time, I would like to invite Matt Blanchette to the stage to say a few words.
Hey everybody, my name is Matt Blanchette. I'm an owner of Revelry Studios, and that bio is a little bit of a joke, kind of pulled from our website. I was fortunate enough to have Aaron here intern for our studio over the past year, and it's really been a great experience. I'm not sure if I'm really the most qualified person in this room to be preaching to a bunch of bright young minds. And I don't really have a crazy success story. I'm still mostly working on the success part. I want to talk to you about something that I do know about. It's the power of changing your mind. Right now, I'm an engineer, producer, director, musician. In the past, I've been a salesperson, an IT professional. I've been a network engineer, a technician. I've been a cashier, I've been a bagger, I've been a stalker in a warehouse. If you find me next year, maybe I'll be something different. Maybe I'll be a plumber, maybe I'll be a mime, and maybe I'll be a NASCAR driver, with any luck. Right now, some of you may know what you want to do next year, and maybe for the rest of your life. And some of you may have no idea. Now keep in mind, you're allowed to change your mind anytime you want, about anything. You can change your mind about what you want to do in life, or what you want to eat tonight. You can change your mind about who you love, who you want to be with, or you can change your mind about what movie you want to watch, even though you're already 20 minutes into one of them. Now, don't be afraid to bail if you throw a dart and it doesn't stick. You can change careers anytime you want. You can change your friends anytime you want. You can spend 4 years at a college learning how to do something and then just walk away, like I did. See, I've been to 4 different colleges. I've been trying to figure it out. I spent 7 years going to colleges. I've lived on campus, I've commuted, I've gone online. I've never been a great student. When I was young, I had to have my agenda book signed by my teachers so my mom could look at it. And I think I'm pretty smart, but I've always had struggles in my life with learning. I've always had trouble focusing and reeling it in. So at a pretty early age, I started to be medicated. I took Ritalin in 4th grade, dosage went up and up. Started taking Adderall in high school, that dose went up. It helped me focus, but it made me kind of a zombie. And the thing about being a zombie is zombies don't really care about being a zombie because zombies don't have a lot of feelings. But I wouldn't take it in the summer because I wasn't in school. And I remember the summer before my senior year, I realized that I liked myself a lot more when I wasn't medicated. And my friends told me they liked me a lot more without the meds. So I told my mom, I don't think I want to take them this year. And so I went into my senior year, unmedicated, first time since 4th grade. And my teachers were kind of amazed. They told me how funny I was and how bright I was, how energetic I was, and how much happier I seemed. Now, I struggled with the learning, same as always, but I started to make systems of organization to help me out. I started to write everything down, started to make lists, I had to work twice as hard, but staying organized helped me leaps and bounds. So starting then, and still to this day, I live my life in lists and notes. I've got a to-do list with tier 1, 2, 3. Tier 1 is urgent, tier 2 less, tier 3 is like just a goal. And that goes everywhere. I got bookmarks, tier 1, 2, 3, emails, tier 1, 2, 3. Hell, I have Spotify playlists, tier 1, 2, and 3. So coming back, here I am, it's 2007, I'm graduating high school. I've got no idea what I want to do with my life. I've been playing music since 7th grade, been in different projects and I loved it, but I wasn't sure if going to music school was the choice for me. And I thought about something my mom told me. She said, listen to your heart, but follow your head. You see, my parents are French-Canadian, and English is their second language, so she got the sayings a little backwards sometimes. Listen to your heart, but follow your head. Okay, my heart says music is cool, but I don't think I'm gonna make enough money, so I'm gonna follow my head. I closed my eyes, and I threw a dart. I said, maybe I'll be a history teacher. I just finished that high school year with this amazing teacher, Mr. Romaine, who was passionate and involved. And through his energy and his conviction, I was convinced that I loved history. I wonder now how many students pick their careers based on an inspirational teacher instead of an inspirational topic. So I threw a dart. It wasn't the last time I threw a dart for a serious life decision, but I went to Keene State to be a history teacher. I spent 6 months, and about 6 months in, I was thinking, I don't think I like history all that much. 80 pages of reading a night, lots of work, I really didn't enjoy it. So I spent another 6 months studying to be a graphic designer. I was pretty good at it, but that didn't really pan out. And then my buddy called me and said, you're pretty smart, I think you should check out IT. You can make good money right out of college. And I said, hell yeah, I like computers. So I transferred to NHTI. I spent 2 years getting my associate's degree. I worked really hard, and I got into good graces with my professors. They recommended me for an internship, turned into a job, turned into another job. Next thing you know, I spent 7 years in the IT field, working for different companies. I really enjoyed my time doing that. IT is a diverse place. I got to learn a lot of things, and my career took lefts and rights based on what I was encountering. I enjoyed my time there, but in 2014, something happened that I didn't see coming. My little brother passed away. He took his own life, and for me, everything kind of changed. So I was renting a house in Manchester at the time. I was doing well for myself, but I decided to move back home, live with my parents, keep them company, and just be with them. So we grieved together, and we talked a lot about happiness. And I'd always kept playing music in different projects, but in the years following, I started to find myself taking music more seriously, using it as an outlet. I felt passion through my pain, and I woke up one day realizing I was spending all of my free time making videos and music, and all of my paychecks making that happen. So I started to feel again that I wanted to change in my life. And I knew whatever I wanted to do, it was going to be related to music. but I knew that I was gonna make a hell of a lot less money. So I started to downsize my life. One by one, I got rid of payments that I could and expenses. I stopped going to the bars as much. I stopped going to nice restaurants. I sold my nice car. I got rid of my payments, bought a cheap car, paid off as much of my student debt as I could, and saved up as much as I could while I had a steady paycheck. And I focused all my energy into music and just waited for an opportunity to present itself. In 2017, I was making a music video. I hired a company to do it for me, and I ran into an acquaintance of mine, Tyler. And as we made this video, we hit it off. I started spending a lot of time with him, and some weeks later, he said that he wanted to split his space, wanted to split the cost of a place that he could play his drums. And myself being cooped up with all my gear in my parents' basement, this little room, I said, that sounds pretty nice. So him, myself, and my friend Kyle decided to find a space we could split and do our thing. We found a 2,000 square foot space in a mill building, and we split the cost. But after we were there for only a few weeks, I started to get this vibe that something bigger was going on. I decided it was time. It's time to throw another dart. So I threw a dart. I said, let's start a recording studio. I didn't know anything about being an audio engineer. I didn't know anything about making videos or running a recording studio, but I knew I could learn. So I quit my job and I started watching every YouTube video I could. I listened to every podcast that I could. I listened and read every article that I could. And I took every dollar I could find in my savings, my 401k, investments. I sold stuff, and I took all of that and put it into building a recording studio with these two guys. With the help of them, a ton of friends, and my dad, we were able to build a space. It's a really incredible space. You guys should check it out. It's got brick walls, and it's truly vibey, super cool. And what I do in my days now is I spend my time working with creative people to make creative things. I make music videos. I make records with bands. It's really a great thing. And I cannot stress enough how much I love what I do. But I work longer days than I've ever worked in my life. I work harder days than I've ever worked in my life. I make less money than I've ever made in my life. I've got late nights, I've got stress, responsibilities. I also have more friends, more love, more support, more good energy. I have more fulfillment, and I can say that every day I go there, not because someone's waiting for me, expects me there, but because I want to be there. Spent about 2 years with Revelry, and I'd be lying if I told you I didn't struggle. Struggle when life throws curveballs. My car has a problem, or taxes come, or bills shows up. Things can get stressful. Hell, I spent most of the last 2 years without health insurance. But here I am, in front of quite a few people on this stage. And like I said, I don't have a lot to say in terms of how to be successful. But what I do want to say is that you cannot be afraid of the struggle. I struggled through school. I struggled through college. I struggled working full-time while I worked for my bachelor's degree online and at night. And then when I finally got that degree, I struggled with the decision to quit my job and walk away from all of that work. But I remind myself then, and I remind you now, you cannot be afraid of the struggle. Don't be afraid to fail, because without struggle, there's no growth. And without failure, there's no enlightenment. See, I watched some commencement speeches trying to prepare for this. And most of them are very inspirational, saying, follow your heart, do what you love. I know now that my mom wanted me to follow my heart out of high school, but despite all of this advice and passionate words, I want to say something, and it's that I want to tell you not everybody is going to find something they love as a career that they can live on. At the end of the day, you've got to make some money, right? So if there's something that you love and you're passionate about, and you can make a living on that, chase it. And if you can make a career out of it, do it. But I spent my life in a career that I very much enjoyed, despite not loving. And remember, you don't have to love your job, you just have to love your life. And a job is a means to an end on how you want to live your life. There's nothing wrong with working 40 hours a week so that you can own a house. That's inspiring. There's nothing wrong with spending 8 hours at a desk so that you can go kayaking with your friends on the weekends. That's inspiring. You just have to love your life. And in 2 weeks, I'm going to turn 30. I've lived most of my 20s making good money, making memories with friends, camping, grilling, bars, and concerts. I was able to do all of this thanks to hard work and a career that paid my bills and let me live comfortably. So if you're sitting in these seats and you got plans to go to school, learn a trade, or get a good job, do it. If you're sitting in those seats planning on finding a way to make your passion a career, do that. But if you're sitting there and you have no idea what your plan is, trust me, it will come to you. Because you don't know what you like till you try it. Once you do, it's okay to want something different. Whatever you do, just work hard. Don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to struggle. Don't be afraid to throw a dart, because you can always change your mind. My name is Matt. It's been an honor. Good luck and congratulations.
My name is Juliana Stefanelli. I'm currently in the capstone program and plan to graduate from Next in the spring of 2020. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce Elizabeth Bacon, the 2019 Next grad. Elizabeth came to Next 3 years ago. She decided to come to Next because she needed a smaller high school environment. As a part of her capstone, Liz explored careers in theater with the Majestic Theater Studio, administrative support with the main office team at Gilbert H. Hood Middle School, and environmental science with the Berry Conservation Camp. After graduation, Liz plans to take a gap year before attending college to study environmental science and musical theater. Liz, please come and stand center stage. Now, I'd like to invite Karen Woodis, Administrative Assistant, to share a bit more about Liz and present her with your diploma.
Hello, Ms. Pager. You first came to us in the fall of 2016 as a second-year student. My first impressions were of a quiet, shy young girl who's extremely picky about her food. During your second year at Next, we really got to know each other better, and through many conversations, I discovered that you had a love for theater and dance. You performed in musicals at the Palace Theater. At Next, you were involved in a lunchtime chorus, and even led a Spark Day class on how to make fly fishing ties. Maybe you were not as shy as I originally thought. You had auditioned for plays, you sang without pause, and I found that you were a kind and gentle person. This year was your capstone year, and what a year it was. You attended 2 camps, you interned at a local theater, and concluded in the office of Gilbert H. Hood. Liz, I have to say, sitting in your capstone defense, I was so impressed with the poise and confidence you presented to the group. You would use this time to fully explore ideas and opportunities. As you enter your gap year, I urge you to push yourself to try new things. As you know, a couple of years ago, I went on a great adventure. There were many reasons to not go. Not enough time, a completely different culture, a 24-hour plane flight. But I went, and it was one of the best experiences in my life. It is so easy to say no, but you can gain so much by going for it. So Liz, I'm going to leave you with a few challenges. Try some new foods, get your license, and say yes. With that being said, it was with great pleasure that I award this Next charter school diploma to Elizabeth Jordan.
Good afternoon. My name is Kyle Regan. I'm currently in the capstone program and plan to graduate from Next in the spring of 2019. 2020. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce Jacob Baton, a 2019 Next graduate, to you. Jacob enrolled at Next in the fall of 2015 directly from middle school and has spent the last 4 years working toward graduation. Jacob decided to apply to Next because he believed the small environment would be helpful with his education. As part of his capstone, Jacob interned with the Derry Community Access Media to explore the field of broadcasting and visual production. Jacob believes it was the opportunity to do good work with great staff members that helped him graduate. After graduation, Jacob plans to attend Southern New Hampshire University in Manchester to study the field of broadcasting. Jacob, please come stand center stage. Now I'd like to invite Joe Crawford, Director of Next, to share a bit more about Jacob and present him with his diploma.
Hi, Jacob. Jacob, it is a pleasure to be here, standing here to speak about you. We've been together in advisory for 4 years now. I've got a chance to spend a lot of time with you. And I truly enjoyed getting to know you and watching you grow. I know I said this the other day at your capstone defense, but I will say it again. There are just so many things to like about you. You are one of the most consistent people I have ever met. I know that might not sound like a compliment, but let me explain. We all have so many connections with other people. We have so many relationships, and those evolve and change over time. Friendships go through ups and downs. People argue, people lose touch. Managing these relationships can be filled with drama. But Jacob, there is no drama with you. You are exactly who you show yourself to be every day. You are reliable and consistent. Though you may not know it, your friends, your teachers, and everyone appreciates your calm and steady approach to things. In addition to being so consistent, I'm happy to say that I've seen you become a leader these last few years. When you began as a student at Next, I think you were fairly shy and pretty reserved. Although I think you've always had a great sense of humor, in the beginning you were hesitant to kind of let yourself get out there in the community and show people your funny, dry wit. As time went on, though, I began to see you open up, not just with clever jokes and comments, but with honest feedback for students and staff. I watched you begin to take on responsibilities as a mentor and a role model for younger students. I also, along with the rest of the staff and students, began to see you for what you truly are, a leader. There's one other thing I'd like to say about you. And in my eyes, it's the greatest compliment you can give someone else. It's the quality that my wife and I were most dedicated to instilling in our own son, and your parents have certainly instilled in you. You are exceptionally kind. I'm convinced that every student and staff member at Next Charter School would agree with me. I've watched you treat everyone with respect. I've watched you share patience, kindness, and compassion, regardless of who the student was or how well you knew them. You always make people feel comfortable. I want to acknowledge what a great man that makes you. I believe you will continue to make people comfortable and safe as you move on to Southern New Hampshire University next year. You should be very proud of who you are. I am. So, it is with great pleasure that I award this Next Charter School diploma to Jacob Baton.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kaylee Guerin. I am currently in the capstone program and plan on graduating in 2020. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce Dylan Bugling, a 2019 Next graduate to you. Dylan enrolled in Next in the fall of 2015, directly from middle school, and has spent the last 4 years working towards graduation. Dylan's desire to work in the trades, specifically in welding, led him to use Capstone to explore the building industry with Pugley's contracting. Dylan wanted me to share with everyone that he hopes the Next community remains positive after he leaves. After graduating, he plans on attending Lincoln Tech to earn a certificate in welding. Dylan, please come stand center stage. Now, I'd like to invite Andrew Bankston, math teacher at Next, to share a bit more about Dylan and present him with his diploma.
Hey, Dylan. Hey, I know from experience having siblings can be tough, especially older ones. You want to follow them, you want to beat them sometimes, but at some point you've got to move out of their shadow and start your own journey. And this is what I've seen you do the last 2.5 years. You know, in the beginning, I heard a lot about, I got to do this because my brother did this, but that went away and you started to become your own person, your own human being, your own path. And, you know, that's awesome. You know, that's what everyone needs to do. This shows a lot of growth. Well, you know, a lot of growth. Look at how tall you are. Like, you know, you know, and I have to say that I've seen some regression as well. I mean, your hair is much shorter than it used to be. That's a math joke. Back to growth, though. You've matured. Yeah, things that used to annoy you don't seem to annoy you anymore. You've become more friendly, and you're helpful, and you take feedback and critique much better than you used to. And this is just, all this stuff is just helping you become you, which is really, it's the goal of everyone. Everybody wants to tell graduates what to do, to offer them some advice. I am no different. But the advice I want to give you is to always consider the source of your advice. If your advice comes from a friend or someone whose opinion you value, you want to give it more weight. We can even, I know you like math, we can mathematize this. So the equation would be the weight you give the advice times the quality of the advice, that equals the value of the advice. Now, it may be true that you get some advice that you weigh at 0 because it's terrible. And the zero product property demands the value of this advice be 0 also, because 0 times anything is 0. Math. Yeah. Finally, learning is never done, Dylan. It continues throughout your entire life. There's always time to learn more. There's good reasons to learn more. There's time to become more confident. There's time to really determine who you are and who you want to be. This takes time and takes experience, but I know that you can do it. Much more important than that, though, is that you know that you can do it. And I sincerely hope you know that. Dylan, it is with great pleasure that I award this Next Charter School diploma, I said that wrong, to Dylan Bugling.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Bertolacini, and I am currently in the Capstone program and plan to graduate from Next in the spring of 2020. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce Kiera Louise Cody, a 2019 Next graduate to you. Kiera enrolled at Next 3 years ago. Kiera enrolled at Next because she felt it offered a lot of opportunities. Kiera dedicated her capstone to exploring the field of authoring under the mentorship of Aaron Moulton, published author and teen librarian at the Derry Public Library. Kiera believes you should capitalize on whatever you have. After graduation, Kiera plans to attend the University of New Hampshire at Manchester and eventually write a book. Kiera, please come and stand center stage. Now I'd like to invite Emily Whalen, science teacher at Next, to share a bit more about Kiera and present her with her diploma.
Hi, Kiera. So I'm really excited and delighted to be the one to get to give you your diploma. In the years that I've known you, you have actually given me a lot of things. Some of them are silly, a little quip about a language or facts about the origin of a word that I might use, or demand that everyone learns the language of Esperanto so that we can communicate. You also have given me a lot of laughs and smiles when I see you just run meeting with a presence that I think is really neat and remarkable. You've done a great job with that, and I just really always appreciate that. You have given me a couple of nail-biting moments and more than a few gray hairs on my head. But I want to tell you about a moment that happened fairly recently when you actually gave me goosebumps, like just straight up with something that you said. And it was at your ILP meeting with Auntie Deb, who I think is here, Auntie Deb. And we were talking about your future and graduating, and we were trying to make plans for wrapping things up, and I said, Kiera, what are you afraid of in the future? Like, what scares you about the future? And I was just asking because I didn't know if you'd say money or where I'm gonna live or what my job is gonna be. And your answer was just, it kind of struck me, it was out of the blue. And it made me think, like, this is why I became a teacher. You said that you were afraid that you wouldn't be able to continue to learn about all the interesting things that you're passionate about. And, if you guys have all probably been to Next, we have the habits of mind kind of around the outside wall. And curiosity is one of the habits of mind that we just work really hard to sort of raise and imbue in our students. But in that moment, when I just thought about you going out into the world, leaving Next and following all of these paths, of studying languages and about cats and bricks and all these things that you're interested in. It made me really happy, and I'm glad that you're about to be unleashed to be able to do that. So in exchange for the things that you have given me, I wanted to give you something, and I had the perfect idea, which was a Klondike bar, but I didn't think that would go so good on stage because they're very sticky. So instead, you're kind of quirky and weird. I thought maybe I could give you something kind of quirky and weird. So as a token of how confident I am that you'll publish a book someday in the near future, and in recognition that I know you like to name your characters after teachers and pets, I'm going to give you some character suggestions. So I thought maybe like in your first book, if you could have a main character named maybe like Salty Bankston, because that's like my dog and Mr. Bankston, like an amateur detective that maybe uses a slide rule to solve problems. Or then I thought like you could have that really organized character that's actually like a secret breakdancer, and that could be Katie Crowley, because that's Mr. Crawford's dog, and then, Mrs. Crowley. And then like maybe you could have like that quiet guy who's a jazz musician, but also maybe like a serial killer, and that could be like Miles Nolan, the jazz detective. So I hope that you took notes on those, and I expect when I'm reading your book to see those characters make an appearance. In addition to the characters, I did also want to help you graduate from high school. So it gives me great pleasure to award this Next Charter School diploma to Kiera Louise Cody.
Good afternoon. My name is Judah Graves, and I'm currently in the Capstone program and plan to graduate from Next in the spring of 2020. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce Christopher Houghtaling, a 2019 Next graduate, to you. Chris enrolled at Next in the fall of 2015, directly from middle school, and has spent the last 4 years working towards graduation. He decided to apply to Next because he wanted something different than the traditional setting he was used to. As part of his capstone, Chris explored the field of woodworking and construction by interning with American Pride Woodworking and taking classes at the Homestead Woodworking School. He would like to share that according to all known laws of aviation, there is no way that a bee should be able to fly. Its wings are too small to get its fat little body off the ground. The bee, of course, flies anyway, because bees don't care what humans think is possible. After graduating, Chris plans to work a full-time job and on the side have a small business building skateboard decks. Chris, please come and stand center stage. Now I'd like to invite Emily Whalen again to the stage to share a bit more about Toby and present him with his diploma.
Hi, Toby. Excuse me, pardon, Chris, Toby. What's that all about? Oh my goodness. Well, the well is deep. There are so many funny stories I could tell about you. I know, like the slippers. But the time that I have where you actually have to listen to me is waning. And so that means getting less. Yeah. So instead of telling you guys all about stories like rollerblading to school in a Tyrannosaurus Rex costume and many more, I'm going to do what everybody does at graduation time, and I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. And so that... So just to help you appreciate that this is good advice, this is not original advice. This is old Whalen family advice, so you know it's good. Okay, when you're faced with a point in your life and you're not really sure exactly what to do, it's easy. There are 3 things to focus on, okay? And I think that for you, this is going to be really easy advice to follow. You start with who. Who are the people that you want to be in your life? Because it matters. You need to find people that bring you up, that bring out the best in you, that forgive you when you make mistakes, but they don't think it's funny and they don't encourage you to do it again. You need to find people that make you want to be good so that you are their people also. And it's friends, girlfriends, roommates. Surround yourself with the people that make you feel good and make you be the good Toby. Step 1. Step 2 is where. Where do you want to live? Because there are a million places all around the world that aren't Derry, New Hampshire, where the sun rises and sets every day. And until you go and you visit them, you don't know what you're going to like. You might be a mountain guy with flannels and Carhartts and likes drinking coffee on your cabin porch looking, out at the ski slopes. Or you might be like an urban guy in a walk-up apartment with like a cat and little succulents. Or you might be a beach guy who doesn't wear a shirt except for on Saturdays when he has to go to the bank and cash a check. You don't know where you want to live, but there's so many great places. And I hope that you travel to them, and I hope that when you find one where you're happy waking up every day, that you are able to make your life there. So who, your where, the last thing is the what. You have so many things going for you. You've got a great personality. You've got a great smile. You're great at making things, and you're great at building things. And you have a great network of people that really want you to do well. But now you have to decide what you're going to do with it. Maybe a job, maybe classes, maybe start a business. Because it doesn't just happen. It's not just going to fall into your lap. You have to make those choices. And so these 3 things, the who, the where, and the what, are all it takes for you to have a great, awesome, amazing life. And I'll tell you, I haven't told this to you before because for the last 4 years, the what that you've been working on has been graduating from high school. And that's about to end because it gives me great pleasure to award this next charter school diploma to Christopher Toby Houghtaling.
Good afternoon. This is too high. Good afternoon. My name is Olivia Beauregard. I'm currently in the capstone program and plan to graduate from Next in the spring of 2020. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce Destiny Fontaine, a 2019 Next graduate to you. Destiny Fontaine enrolled at Next directly from middle school 4 years ago. She decided to come to Next to help herself come out of her shell and to be in a small community with leaders. Through Capstone, Destiny partnered with Rayanne Pellerin of Annie Ray's Photography to explore photography. She also spent time interning in Kathy Mulready's first grade classroom at East Derry Memorial Elementary School. Destiny would like to share that before coming to Next, she was very quiet and she couldn't express herself. She thanks Next and her mom for not only helping her grow as a person, but for helping her become a tremendous leader as well. After high school, Destiny hopes to go to college for youth development and photography. Destiny, please come and stand center stage. Now I'd like to invite Rob Aquilina, English teacher at Next, to share a bit more about Destiny and present her with her diploma.
Over here. It's just down here.
Hey, Destiny. I want to talk today about something you and I have both become pretty familiar with, and that's Frisbee. I know you've heard this a couple of dozen times, but I want to go over what makes a Frisbee fly. A lot of people think that it's how hard someone throws it, or how they hold their arm, or the position of their feet, or something like that. And that's not exactly what does it. That just kind of decides the direction or the angle or whatever. No, you know that what really makes a Frisbee fly is how much it spins. Or even more accurately, how quickly it spins. See, what happens is when a Frisbee spins quickly, the lip of the Frisbee causes the air underneath it. This is really for everybody. Dinner table conversation. The lip of the Frisbee causes the air underneath the Frisbee to start to spin quickly as well. Because the air underneath the Frisbee is moving faster than the air around it, it causes a lifting sensation, which is what keeps a Frisbee afloat and flying wherever it's eventually trying to go. Destiny, I think that you are the air beneath a Frisbee, okay? You lift people up. All day, every day. It seems like no matter what direction someone has chosen or where they're headed, you are there to cheer them on, to support them, to just help them stay afloat. I think that whenever you are, even if when you're having a bad day, you're still there with a hug, a kind word, a nice gesture. You have just gone completely beyond what is expected to make people feel good about themselves, to help people where they need to go. Your name means something that is meant to be, destiny, right? And I think it's appropriate. I think that you have just been meant, your destiny is to just help people become who they are. I don't think that there's a person on the stage or a person at Next that you haven't been able to form some sort of personal relationship with, a real connection. I think that you have become at least some level of friend with everyone. So I asked for everyone's help to find out what they think of you. And I don't have enough time to read all of these words. And by the way, I just want to point out, I never had to tell someone, no, you can't say this about Destiny's graduation. You have to be nice. Nobody even for a second thought that. So here are some of the things people thought about you. Brave, talented, polite, spunky, genuine, cheerful. Who wrote hot? Considerate, thoughtful, influential, mindful, passionate, kind, determined, upbeat, creative, considerate, motivated, kind-hearted. The list goes on, and every possible positive word that or phrase that someone could come up with is on this sheet, and that is because you have spent the past 4 years just displaying all these qualities to everybody you come in contact with. And this is from alumni, this is from your fellow graduates, from current students, from your teachers. It's everyone, and it's really been remarkable. Destiny, you are an admirable leader, an independent thinker, a strong woman, and a great friend. And I'm really proud of you. And so it is with great pleasure that I present this next charter school diploma to Destiny LaFontaine. Congratulations.
Good afternoon again. Today it is my pleasure to introduce Arianna Rosemary Marble, a 2019 Next graduate, to you. Arianna has been at Next for 4 years. She came to Next because she wanted to follow in her brother's footsteps and she wanted a smaller learning environment. For her capstone experience, Arianna interned with Jessica McMaster, an art teacher at Grinnell Elementary School, because art is a hobby she enjoys. One thing she would like to share about herself is that she doesn't like sharing. After graduating from Next, Arianna plans to take a gap year before continuing her education in the fields of math, engineering, and technology. Arianna, please come and stand center stage. I would now like to invite Angela Gleckman, our teacher at Next, to share a bit more about Arianna and present her with her diploma.
Hi, Arianna. This past September, I was very nervous walking into Next Charter School. I was the new kid on the block, the new art teacher. My heart was pounding, and I admit I had tears in my eyes, wondering if I'd do well, if the kids would respond to me, and wondering if I would trip and fall on my first day, literally and figuratively. As I was talking to Mr. Crawford and Miss Verity, all of a sudden I saw a kind, bold figure approach me. You may not remember this, but it was you. You extended your hand, shook mine, and bravely introduced yourself. I took a deep breath and relaxed as I introduced myself to you. You then told me that you're an artist and asked if I would like to see your art. When I told you I'd love to see some of your work, I had no idea at that moment how talented you really are. I can tell producing art is a release for you, but your raw talents are a gift. The characters you create on a computer are extremely colorful, and it's like they will come to life and jump out on the page. Since then, you have continued to share your art with me at every opportunity. I always look forward to getting emails with your graphic design pieces or your drawings that I hang up in the art room. Everything you create is incredible and has so much meaning. I'm always impressed by your ability, and I've tried to encourage you to create more and push yourself to the limit. You and I have bonded over art, clothes, food, and we seem to both have a similar sense of humor. As you know, there are 7 elements of art. They are color, line, shape, form, space, texture, and value. 7 things that represent you are that you're talented, driven, smart, funny, strong, unique, and not afraid to be yourself. You have a strong mind, your own style, and a vivacious personality that makes you stand out in a crowd. You have been an important asset to Next. Whatever your endeavors, whatever your future has in store for you, even if you encounter challenges in life, I am confident you will persevere. As you enter the next chapter in your life, I hope you carry the 7 elements of art with you. Color. Always add color to your life and to those you meet. Line. Don't be afraid to color outside the lines. Shape. Enjoy the process as your future takes shape. Form good habits that will help guide you. Space. Give yourself space to learn and grow. Texture. Seek out experiences that will add texture to your life. And value. Always be yourself and stay true to your values. Arianna, keep being the person brave enough to make the new person feel welcome. I am so proud of your accomplishments, and I wish you the best of luck. You will be missed. It is with great pleasure that I award this next charter school diploma to Arianna Marble.
Good afternoon again. My name's still Kayla Garrett, and I still plan on graduating in 2020, if you were wondering. Today, it is my pleasure to be introducing Aaron Noge, a 2019 Next graduate to you. Aaron has been at Next for 2 years. He came to Next because he wanted a different learning experience. For his capstone site, Aaron interviewed at Reveille Studios, a perfect place for him to continue to grow as a passionate and talented musician. Aaron would like to say, sure, God's all-powerful, but does he have lips? After graduating from Next, Aaron plans to move to Framingham, Massachusetts to further his audio education with a recording connection. Aaron, please come stand center stage. Now, I'd like to invite Miss Kelly Nolan, our social studies teacher at Next, to share a little bit more about Aaron and present him with his diploma.
First of all, oh man, this never gets easier. So, Aaron. I started writing this speech in January because I knew there was not enough time in the world to speak about how absolutely astonishing you are. When I first met you, I was happy because someone at Next was taller than me. Little did I know, you would be way taller than me by the time you graduated. I wore heels today. Tall is a proper word to describe you, Aaron. Tall in thought, tall in grace, tall in hope, tall in intelligence, and tall in personality. When you walk into a room, everything changes. People smile, people relax, and people listen. You matter. I can honestly say, never in the time that I have known you, however, have I ever heard you say something that was not important. You are articulate with words, so articulate, in fact, that when you speak, everyone listens. To illustrate what I mean by this, during advisory lunch this past year, we did an activity where each student had to vote on a body part that described you. The class voted that you were a brain. This is a true way to describe you, minus the wrinkles. You listen, you learn, you create, and you matter. You really are a true life rock star. You even have the hair to prove it. If Alice in Chains ever need a new band member, I know who to direct them to. Through your time here at Next, I've seen so much growth in you. You are indescribably strong. As your advisor, I have seen you do many amazing things, like actually run, into my class to play me a new song, beat me in every single push-up competition we ever had. No, he doesn't work out. Write and deliver your own suicide awareness speech to the greater Derry community, crush an internship opportunity, and now go to school to work in a recording studio. You pick people up when they're down, Aaron, and understand when people need both a physical and mental pick-me-up. One of my favorite things about you is that I have never seen you once be unkind. This is not something that I can note about many people. You have always said something kind, no matter who it's to. And that's why you matter. I could go on and on about how wonderful you are. However, I know you want to graduate sometime this year. I have cited the phrase, you matter, again and again in this speech. These are not my words. They are actually yours. You wrote this in your speech to emphasize how everyone in this world has their place and has made a positive impact on someone, whether or not they know it. But to me, these words truly describe you. To quote a small portion of this, you said, "You matter and you are loved." So Aaron, as you go throughout your next adventure, remember that you matter, you have made a positive impact on countless people, and you are loved. It is with great pleasure that I award this next charter school diploma to not Aaron, but Aaron Noj.
Good afternoon. My name is Oliver Leary, and I am currently in the capstone program and plan to graduate from Next in the year of 2020. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce Trevor Pascarella, a 2019 Next graduate, to you. Trevor has been a student at Next for the past 3 years. He has decided to come to Next because he believed he could not handle the stress of a traditional high school. As a part of his capstone, Trevor worked at Minuteman Press, printing and cutting things like business cards and postcards. Trevor feels he is a very open person, and this community knows him pretty well. Given this, he has told me that he has nothing to share at this point in time, except for the fact that after graduation, Trevor intends to find a job that can support him while he makes his way into the voice acting world. Trevor, please come stand center stage. Now, I'd like to invite Elizabeth Verity, guidance counselor at Next, to share a bit more about Trevor and present him with his diploma.
Don't worry, Trevor, I have some stuff to share. So last week, you and I had the opportunity to go to Six Flags with some of your fellow graduates. You shared there was a new ride you had to try, Fireball. With no line ahead of us, you and I entered this massive 7-story ring, strapped ourselves into a 2x2 cart, and waited. I turned to you after realizing I'm on a ride and have no idea what to expect, and asked, "Trevor, what does this ride do?" You replied, "It goes upside down." I started to pepper you with questions, and you calmly responded, "I don't know, but I'm sure we'll both be okay." In that moment, I felt comforted by your even demeanor and confidence. Your ability to connect with others is consistent in many areas of your life. You've started lunch groups, game tournaments, and offered inclusion and comfort to your peers. When you reflected on your interactions with others during your capstone defense, you explained that you may occasionally lack confidence. Trust yourself. You are able to interpret others' behaviors and make connections. Continue to find groups and hobbies that will foster this and bring you happiness. The second moment that stuck with me from Six Flags is when we were on a spinning coaster ride called Pandemonium. I'm sure you remember this. We entered a cart made for 4 people. You and I sat elbow to elbow. You gazed at an empty seat in front of you while I stared, touching knees into the eyes of a stranger. And now there's really 2 things that you don't want to happen when you're on a ride. One is a mechanical malfunction, and the other is someone getting sick. So I'll spare you all the details, and I don't share this so that you don't want to go to amusement parks, but this stranger, just inches away from us, got sick. The reason I share this is to break down your response to this situation. You were calm, polite, and caring. You asked this young man if he was okay. You expressed sympathy. When we were waiting to exit our cart, it was stuck spinning like a teacup for what felt like an eternity. You flagged down the attendants asking if there was anything they could do to stop the movement. It wasn't until we were walking away from the ride that you softly shared, "It upset your stomach too." You put someone else, a stranger, ahead of yourself. You truly have a kind heart. Whether it's including others during meeting or remembering to ask someone how their day is going, you are considerate. The advice I offer you is to take chances and try new things. Surround yourself with people, trust yourself, and stay focused on your future. It is now with great pleasure that I award this next charter school diploma to Trevor Pascarella.
Good afternoon. My name is Darlene Sampson, and I'm currently in the capstone program and plan to graduate from next in the spring of 2020. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce Corey Wrothian, a 2019 next graduate, to you. Corey has been at Next Charter School for 5 years. He decided to attend Next because he wanted to find new opportunities from a non-traditional high school. Corey interned at West Running Brook Middle School and partnered with Ann Nelson, the school band teacher. In the fall, he plans to attend SNHU Advantage in Salem, New Hampshire. Corey, please come and stand center stage. Now I'd like to invite Kim Crowley, capstone coordinator at Next, to share a bit more about Corey and present him with his diploma.
Hey, Corey. How are you doing? You good? Okay. So we've spent a lot of time together these last 3 years, and in that time I've had a lot to say to you, and at times probably more than you wanted to hear. But today I have 2 final things that I want to say. I want you to be confident, and I want you to own it. You're a smart guy with so much to contribute. Many times you've said to me, I can't, but then you show me and everyone else that you can. When we went to Mayhew Island this past September, you arrived late for the bus, unprepared, and thinking you couldn't go on the trip. Not only did you go on the trip, you rallied and led our advisory of mostly new students over walls, up trees, across wires. You kept us all from falling into that abyss. Your confidence helped the new students conquer fears, push through anxieties, and build new friendships. So I remind you, be confident. Everything that happens to you happens for a reason. That reason is you. For me, an enduring image will always be of you at Apple Hill, running and stumbling up that wet, grassy hill to the gazebo, where the entire community was gathered and watching and waiting, so we could take a group photo before the rain came. The sky was going to open up. And although you had a large crowd cheering you on, it was you who got yourself up that hill, and it was you wearing the happiest smile on everyone in the photo that captured your success that day. So every time you find yourself at the bottom of a hill, at a crossroad, perhaps dealing with a mistake that needs fixing, remember to own it every time, because taking responsibility is what gives us control to forge ahead, onward, and upward. It is with great pleasure that I present to you this next charter school diploma.
Good afternoon again. It is my pleasure to introduce Jewel Sullivan, a 2019 Next graduate, to you. Jewel enrolled at Next in December of 2017 because she felt the school would be able to meet her academic and social needs. Jewel used her capstone experience to feed her passion for animals by interning at the Animal Rescue League of New Hampshire, learning about animal rehabilitation and rehoming. Jewel believes if you follow the yellow brick road, it will lead you to your dreams. If you don't, who knows where you'll go. Jewel will be continuing her education by attending Nashua Community College in the fall, as a step towards her longer-term goal of pursuing a degree in either zoology or wildlife biology. Jewel, please come and stand center stage. I'd like to now invite Kim Crowley back to stage to share a little bit more about Jewel and present her with her diploma.
Hey, Jewel. So I feel very fortunate to be on stage with you today to celebrate your graduation from Next Charter School. In my job, I spend time with and support a diverse group of young people as they seek new and uncharted experiences in the adult world. I've been so impressed watching you continue to demonstrate some natural instincts that many adults strive for. A high level of motivation, self-advocacy, honest communication, and most of all, resilience in the face of obstacles. But all natural instincts can be fine-tuned to a higher level of effectiveness. To that end, I have recently noticed you seeking and accepting feedback and guidance from those who understand and care, and making adjustments to acknowledge the perspective and needs of others. Such habits are essential to all healthy and productive relationships. I believe as you move on to new places, experiences, and opportunities, what comes naturally will serve you really, really well, especially if you rely on the checks and balances that come from surrounding yourself with good people and relationships. It is with great pleasure that I present to you, Jewel Sullivan, this Next Charter School diploma. Congratulations.
Hello again. Each day at closing meeting, we end the day with lift-ups. Lift-ups celebrate one specific person for something that they've accomplished. It is a time to publicly recognize individuals for their great work. After we are done lifting that person up, we all synchronize with one clap. I will demonstrate an example for you now. I would like to lift up Jacob Baton for being a great role model student of Next Charter School and for being a great friend. Now, we would like to open the floor to all of you to give your own lift up of a graduate. We ask that the focus is on a graduate. To lift someone up, simply stand, speak loudly and clearly, and make a specific brief recognition of a graduate.
I would like to lift up Kiera Cody, who's a truly amazing graduate of the class. I lift up Jules because I love her. I like to lift up Sullivan and because she's my best friend. I love Kiera because she's a real good. I like to lift up Elizabeth showing unbelievable kindness. I'd like to lift up Aaron. She's a man. I'd like to lift up Trevor for helping organize many amazing things in the next community.
I want to lift up Jewel. She's also good at me for everything,
going to work, going to school, and teaching school.
I'd like to lift up Dylan Bugling for always being able to debate on any topic.
I like to lift up Kiera for always being energetic, positive, and being a great community, creative community member. I like to lift up Dylan Bugling for always giving me amazing words of encouragement and days when I'm feeling down.
I'd like to lift up Kiera Cody for being the first person to ever include me at Next Connected.
I like to lift up Elizabeth for always being passionate about her singing.
I'd like to lift up Trevor Pascarella, my grandson, for his personal growth. I'd like to lift up Arianna Marble for having great ideas.
Well, I'd also like to lift up Arianna for having such a kind heart.
I'd like to lift up Dylan Bugling for being such a strong individual. I like to lift up Kiera Cody, which is just so damn awesome. I'd like to lift up Christopher for being a great friend, always showing me that humor is the perfect time.
Are there any more lift ups to share? Oh.
I'm sorry. I'd like to lift up Jacob from way up here at the end. I'd like to lift up Jacob for his time at DerryCAM. He was a big help, and he was just a great guy to have around.
I'd like to lift up Christopher. Who freaking is just the sweetest boy in the world.
Are there any more lift ups to share? Yeah. Thank you for recognizing our graduates. I would now like to invite Joe Crawford on the stage to share a few closing remarks.
All right, it's just me, and then you get to go. So it's going to be long. I'm honored to be here with you all today. Today is a celebration, not just a celebration of the hard work and dedication of these 11 young people, but a celebration of a community that has chosen to support the individualized needs of students seeking educational and personal achievement. This community is made up of the Derry Cooperative School District, its board and staff members, our partners at Pinkerton Academy and other surrounding schools and organizations, the staff and board at Next Charter School, and the many parents, siblings, and friends that are part of the larger Next Charter School family. This group has come together to demonstrate a commitment not only to the young people on this stage, but to any young person who seeks personal success. And I am so proud to be a part of this community. To the graduates, I remind you that you did not get here alone. None of us do. Though you may not always see them, you are surrounded by people who are rooting for you, who are on your side, and who want you to succeed. Each of you has completed an internship with an individual or an organization that has contributed to your development, often with nothing to gain and much to lose. Think about that for a moment and be thankful that we have such wonderful, generous people around us that are so willing to donate their time, effort, patience, and money to support your education and growth. And here is the little secret. It's not just because you are a student at Next Charter School. As you continue your journey beyond high school, you will need help. And I promise you, there will be people all around you with support and guidance. Sure,
You will run into obstacles, you will experience failure, and you might even meet people who don't seem to care, or worse yet, appear to be actively against you. But I promise you, these people are few and far between. Though the world can sometimes appear unkind and selfish, it really isn't. Most people want to help. The problem is, most of the time, we forget to ask. The truth is that everyone in this room who has given of themselves to help you has benefited from it. That's the wonderful thing about living in a community. So my advice to you is simple. Don't try to do it alone. Don't think you have to have everything figured out. Don't believe that no one cares. Work hard, do your best, and don't give up. Learn from those around you. And ask for and accept help when you need it. And give people the benefit of the doubt. Let's be honest, if you do this, you too will be called to help someone, maybe a young person like yourself someday. When that opportunity comes, you will understand just how great it feels to see someone else succeed. Today, you bring great pride to all of us who helped along the way. Your success is a gift to everyone out there in the audience and to all those who helped with your achievement. Graduates, please stand. As a symbol of your accomplishment, please move your tassel from right to left. So I'm hereby presenting you the 2019 graduating class of Next Charter School. At this time, I would like to ask all Next Charter School staff members to please make your way to the lobby. Graduates, as you leave the stage and exit the auditorium, please take this opportunity to allow our staff to offer you our sincere congratulations. Audience members, please remain at your seats until the graduates have made their way down the center aisle and out into the lobby. They will be waiting for you outside, ready to take pictures, shake hands, and celebrate. Thank you all for coming and joining us on this special occasion.